I just spent the past week in Brazil for the first time since the Olympic Games back in 2016, and it was such a special experience. I recently was approached with the opportunity to coach an athlete here in Mission Viejo at the Brazilian Nationals. It was a combination of the Junior Nationals and the Senior Nationals, and I jumped on the opportunity to go back to Brazil and coach this athlete. Brazil is a special place for me. It's where the Olympics were, it's where my Olympic dreams came true, and so any opportunity for me to go back to the special country, I'm always gonna try to make that opportunity work. Now, this trip wasn't in Rio de Janeiro. I didn't go back to the Olympic Village or the pool I won the medal at. This was actually in Brasilia, and more specifically in Gama, which is a city outside of Brasilia. But obviously, I wanted to jump on this opportunity because I love being able to travel and I love being on pool deck. So this was actually my first time being a coach at a competition, and it went extremely well. So even though I was going to Brazil to coach, when I was on the flight from Houston to Sao Paulo, I got asked if I wanted to dive exhibition and do some dives just for fun, and obviously I had to jump on the opportunity. So for these diving events, I wasn't representing anyone. I wasn't a part of a team. I wasn't a part of a nation. I was labeled as extra, exhibition. I simply was just doing dives for fun. Scores didn't count, so I was using it as a practice opportunity to see what do I need to work on when I get back home and get back to training. And I learned pretty quick I have a lot to work on. The training days were pretty good. Nothing was perfect, but things were in a solid spot. But when the event rolled around, I really struggled, to say the least. It was pretty bad.
Norte-americano vai para duplo e meio mortal para frente, carpado. Vamos ver aí o salto de Steele Johnson. Mais uma vez aí para você o salto do medalhista olímpico Steele Johnson. E aí de novo, ó, acabou. Errando ali no salto o Steele Johnson. Vamos ver aí o salto de Steele Johnson. Medalhista olímpico. A gente vai revendo aí o salto do Steele Johnson. Com notas 8,5, soma 72,85. Chega a 244,10. Medalhista olímpico Steele Johnson. Com triplo e meio mortal para frente e grupado. Fechando aí a prova, portanto, o Steele Johnson.
Specifically this reverse 2.5 tuck. My hurdle was bad. I should have balked. But something in my brain said, just do the dive, and I did it, and I shouldn't have. It might not look that bad on camera, but I almost hit the board. I was maybe a millimeter away from hitting the board, and it was in an extremely dangerous spot. Thankfully, I didn't get scored down for it, but doing this dive in this meet let me know that my hurdles need a lot of work. So overall, the 1 meter event didn't go great. I had one dive in the 5th round that went well, the inward 2.5 tuck. That's my comfort dive. So it's one of those dives where I feel like no matter what pool I'm at, what board I'm on, I can do this dive relatively well almost every single time. And then in the last round, it was dark outside. We started the event late. There were no lights at the pool, so they turned on the scoreboard to a bright white screen behind me. And because of that, I got messed up in my flips and I got lost on the front 3.5, and I landed like this. All in all, the 1 meter event was terrible for me. But that being said, I got a lot of great information about my diving, and now that I'm back home in California, I know what I need to work on to perform better next time. And that's what competing in these events, especially diving exhibition as an extra where nothing counts, that's where this is so important for me, because I get basically a free opportunity to see where I'm at with no pressure and see what I need to work on when I get back home. But since my dives went so terribly on 1 meter and my hurdles specifically were really bad and kind of in a dangerous spot, I decided to pull the reverse 3.5 tuck and the reverse 3.5 twister out of my list on 3 meter, so I replaced them with standing front 2.5 pike and standing reverse 2.5 tuck. This way I didn't have to do a hurdle, I didn't have to worry about my balance, I simply just had to worry about my air position, my kick out, and my entries. And even though I was just focused on those also weren't very good. Then the back 2.5 was pretty rough. And then the inward 3.5 actually had a great start. It was moving well. I just came out a little early and left it a little short. So I didn't score super well, but I was actually pretty happy with that dive. And to round things out, I did have 2 hurdles, the front 3.5 pike and the double out. And again, the hurdles were bad, but I was able to sneak the dives in. Not great scores because I finished them low and they weren't confident, but all in all, it was an awesome experience being able to just get in the pool and do some dives just for fun. So even though I went to Brazil just to coach, I brought suits and a chamois with me just in case I had time to train. So when I learned I could compete, I was like, thank you that I packed my suits, because it ended up being a really fun competition. And again, wasn't representing any team, any club, any nation, simply was extra and just diving for myself. But me going and competing wasn't the point of this trip. The point of this trip was me going to Brazil to coach an athlete at a high pressure event for them. They were diving at the junior nationals and the senior nationals, which were happening at the same time. And this was an opportunity to qualify for international events, which the athlete did. So it was a really cool experience being back in Brazil. I love Brazil, I love the people, I love the culture. The weather was amazing, the pool was awesome. I just had such an awesome experience, and it was really cool to be able to go back to a place that's so special to me 10 years after I won an Olympic medal. And it was definitely so interesting being a coach at a competition, because typically I'm watching an event and I've got nerves for myself. I want to perform well, but this time I was on the pool deck with nerves for the athlete I was coaching, wanting them to perform well. And it definitely gave me a cool perspective looking back on my diving career at big meets for my coaches that I had, knowing what they must have been feeling when I was up on the platform. So all in all, amazing trip. 10 out of 10. Brazil is amazing. I cannot wait to go back again in the future. It'll always have a special place in my heart. But now I have to get back to work. I've got a lot of diving things that I need to fix and figure out, because my performance was rough, and that's okay. And one of the reasons I wanted to post all the dives in this video is because a lot of people think you have to dive perfect all the time, or you have to post only your best. Specifically, I took that reverse 2.5 on 1 meter, I posted it to Instagram, and immediately I got comments and messages asking me, why did you post this? Why are you posting such a bad dive? And the reason I decided to post it is I think it's, one, funny, because it's a funny miss, especially an Olympic medalist missing that bad in a competition. It's just funny. And I'm the first one that was laughing when I was coming out of the pool. So I thought it was funny that I messed up that bad. But the second reason I wanted to post it is there's probably young athletes watching this video right now that need to know that you can have an Olympic medal and still have bad days in the pool. You can be one of the best in the world in the past and still have rough days in the future. That's part of the sport. I'm not gonna hide my bad performances from people that are supporting me. I'm gonna showcase them because I wanna be true, I wanna be authentic, and I don't wanna lie to you all and say, oh, I didn't have my best day, but I did this well. It's like, no, I did, I think like 3 good dives total on the trip, and then the rest were terrible. But that's okay. All in all, being able to just be on the boards, do a few dives, it gave me vital information that now that I'm back home, I can take that information, learn from it, and apply what needs to be applied to my current training. Every great athlete has failed so many times in the past, but a lot of people just don't showcase that online. I've been showcasing all aspects of my life for such a long time. It only feels natural now to showcase when I have terrible diving, and just showcase that it is true, it's real, it happens, not just to me, but even people way better than me. I've seen them mess up dives in big moments. That's part of life. So if you're watching this and you're beating yourself up over having a bad performance or missing the cut on something or not doing as well as you wanted to, just relax. Think back to that experience, think about what you learned from that experience, and now go apply it to your training and future competitions. The people that get to the top are the ones that are willing to fail the most and keep going. And I failed pretty bad. But I'm gonna keep going because I can and I love what I do. But that's it. Brazil was amazing, and it was an honor to be on pool deck coaching such an incredible athlete, and I'm just looking forward to the next trip. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new, be sure to subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed it, and just stick around. We got nationals, I think, at the beginning of August, so that's kind of the next big one I'm training for. I got a lot of great information on this trip and a lot of time to apply everything that I learned. So I hope you join me for this journey, and I'll see you next time.